We're talking to Dr. Charles Manning, the Chancellor of the Tennessee Board of Regents, and the topic is the Tennessee Board of Regents 2009. And of course, Dr. Manning, let's allow you to pick up during the second segment to talk about what you consider to be some of the challenges dealing with the Tennessee Board of Regents in terms of trying to allow you to fulfill your responsibility to the state, people of the state of Tennessee.
Well, of course, what I like to tell people is if you don't care about money, things are wonderful.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
But it's everybody it's not. I can't imagine this person in Tennessee that doesn't know the economy is bad, the tax collections are bad, and we are a significant part of the state budget, and so. We share in that, and that's what challenges us. And just as when we left off, more people wanting to go, an absolute commitment and demand. That we address that. How do you do that when, in fact, you're doing it on somewhat less money? Well, one thing that's happened, and everybody talks about, is tuition does go up.
Okay.
And frankly, if you look all the way back to '88 up to now. And you measure the purchasing power per student that we have.
Okay.
So that's inflation adjusted, and it's adjusted based on enrollment increases. We've been able to remain relatively constant. Now the state's paying less, students are paying more, but that total of what we have to work with really has remained constant. I think we're in a point now where that's going to drop down some, and so that's really the challenge, is somewhat less purchasing power and how to go about being able to do that and still reach the students. So that's the charge of the presidents and the faculty and others as they look at it. It is a wonderful system in terms of people being able to work with each other. I think the best piece of evidence of that is the Regents online degree
That's what
program.
I was saying. Yeah, I was thinking about that program. I was about to make reference to that. Talk about that.
Yeah, it's in terms of how this is produced. A student can sign up for at any school they want to. Then that's where their transcript will be. But the course they take might be delivered by another faculty member from another school. It might have been developed by yet another faculty somewhere else. And so collaboratively together, this material, particularly for the general education, those basic courses that everybody takes, like English, that has been going on. And that collaborative, it really reduces the cost over what would be if every school was trying to develop their own.
And you've got a terrific response in reference to that in terms of your enrollment. People that are online.
It has really grown. It is in students and full-time equivalent, as we say, students. It's larger than our smaller community colleges at this point. So it's surpassed whole campuses and all online. And one of the most interesting things that's going on now, because the lottery, lottery has enabled this, is we're doing what we call dual enrollment. And some of that is being done in this way, where a student who is in high school still, in the senior year, can take freshman English and get that out of the way. And it's also been very good for homeschoolers and others that they can take advantage of this and do that and move forward. And frankly, we've had some people, some students, not the norm, but some, who when they graduate from high school have 2 years of college under their belt. That much going on. So those are the kinds of things, and reaching out and trying to reach more people. And if you live in a rural area of the state, or even in the urban area, and transportation is hard, those online courses provide you a way. And even if you don't have a computer, you can go to a local public library or other places where you'd have access to the internet to be able to do that. So that's one of the kind of strategies to be able to keep reaching out to people.
Now, is there a new commitment that has been made by the universities to this online operation, which is to say that there's more of an emphasis on technology in many of these in many of your institutions.
Well, you know, there've been, and you and I have lived through any number of these. When the radio first came out, it was kind of revolutionary, everything in education, and there were radio-based courses, and TV did the same thing, but the internet and online education brings so many more resources to the student's door than you could ever do with those other technologies. So you can have film clips, you can have interactive assignments where what the student says causes you to do some of the things. One of our, you know, another really, I think, successful pilot we're running right now is for those students who need some help before they start a college course. And that's done in a computer lab where, first of all, you know, going through that, it tells you mathematics. Here are your weak points. It doesn't say you have to go and take a whole remedial course. It says, here are the weak points.
At one time, we referred to this as remedial education. Is that what we were talking about in terms of developmental education? When students come from two universities.
It's when they're not fully prepared to begin a college course, and their probability of failing that is high unless they get some more
developmental courses.
Yeah.
And, yes, very good.
And so this kind of approach, it has sort of the drill and practice parts for students. It tells you when you're doing something wrong. You know, one of the things that always frustrated me in math in particular is you had the math book, you had questions in the back, but you only had answers for all the evens or all the odds. You know, well, you know, how do you know if I'm right or not? And this gives you that kind of feedback, and it tells you when you make in the steps where you're making the problem. It tells you the reason that that's a problem. So it's really an active learning tool for a student, and the faculty member needs to be there, needs to be oversee it, but they don't have to spend.
But the overwhelming majority of that activity is carried on by the student himself in his own computer and et cetera.
And speed.
And that's cost saving for the state of Tennessee. Is that not?
I think it's far more effective. And it's a cost savings, yes.
Very good. And of course, let us have this second commercial break, and after which we'll come back and we'll continue our conversation. And of course, we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. We're talking to the